Ladies and gentlemen, happy Monday. We got another recap here for you guys today, and we got a W. So, great way to start the week and also a brand new month of December. This is the last month of 2025, so we got to make it count, especially the first couple weeks, because once Christmas time rolls around, I mean, things are going to slow down. I'm not really going to be focused on the charts too much that last week of the year, as always. So, yeah, let's make the most out of it. And we started off on a good note today. So, let's get straight into it. Same model, same approach every single day. So, today, we actually had a pretty wide Asian range because for some reason on Sunday the market just decided to kind of like tank throughout Asian session. I mean, we had like a huge move to the downside, and we didn't even really like interact with the high or the low pretty much throughout all of London, pre-New York. It really took until like what afternoon, like 12:30 almost, for us to even finally get to one of the Asian points here. um so yeah, kind of a different day today as far as not seeing Asia form how it usually does, which is a much tighter range, as you guys can see here, compared to this massive range. And yeah, so let's look at what we had coming into 10 a.m. So we saw price, look like it wanted to potentially come down and start sweeping the low. We never really quite got there. Price ended up stopping a little bit before, rallied up, and then once 9:30 hit, we kind of started seeing that, manipulation to the downside, a spike up, a spike down, until finally we chose a direction. So we notice here, we zoom in a little bit more closely. Here we can see around market open, this is 9:40. We saw price take liquidity of these lows from basically pre-New York. This is about 7:40 a.m. Eastern time. And once we took out that low, we saw price start to rally and break new highs until we basically approached 10 a.m. So for the model, as always, we'll pull up the confirmations here and make that a little bit bigger here. So number one is we're going to take a look at what the 4-hour candle from 6 to 10 a.m. did today. And we can see that we ended up forming a pretty big wick to the downside and closed bullish. We had a bullish 4-hour candle from 6 to 10 a.m., which means that we want to focus on buy opportunities. Okay. Now, second confirmation is looking at Asia. Now, typically we want to see price break out of Asia, but in this case, we didn't really have any interaction. So you could argue like, oh, we didn't really have a confirmation for Asia. Maybe we shouldn't take a trade. I see it this way. Price had the opportunity to come and take the low because we got very close to it. And the fact that price around market open decided to spike this low and shift structure back bullish, it just, for me personally, I interpreted that as like, hey, if we were this close to Asia and we never quite took it, and now price is shifting bullish, I'm going to consider that a rejection of Asia low in a way. And that means that we should be headed towards the other side of the trade, which is Asia high. And that could be our drawn liquidity for the day that I'm really looking to get to. So yeah, that was kind of like the Asia confirmation, the way I saw it. And then the last thing is looking at VWAP. If we could get price to basically maintain above the VWAP, those are all good bullish confirmations. And from there, we're simply looking for PO3, right? We want to see some accumulation, manipulation, and then a distribution to the upside. And then we're taking buys there. So yeah, we did get that pretty much to the T if we drop time frames here. Now, the tricky thing with the strategy is some days you're not really going to have a clear manipulation to the downside. You might have price just do like something like this and then start to pop up and take off, So I know some people will probably take some L's here, but this is why I say personally, if I want to be very picky and do it the way that I would prefer the market to do it, is to actually get a very clear push to the opposite side where we have maybe hundreds of points to the downside, at least 50 points, 30 points, just something significant, right? Because Like these little drops below 10 a.m. here were like 28 points, pushing 30 points, which is fine. But I mean, this other move here, eventually we see it drop about 90 points. So that's really a more significant move. And if we really look back in hindsight, we could see that what price was trying to do was rebalance price at this 1 minute fair value gap. Again, you can kind of see the intention here where price pushed lower, ended up shifting structure above this high, and then eventually when it wanted to do its retracement, we filled in that fair value gap. I would probably bet, without even really seeing it, that we'd be within like a 61%, like a 62% retracement or more if we pull up some fibs here. And yeah, we're basically sitting in that 62 to 80 retracement area that sits right at that fair value gap, which is beautiful. So yeah, this is what I want to see. I want to see price fake below the open, right, creating that manipulation and then forming distribution back above 10 a.m. open price, and that's where we could execute buy positions, same as always. Now this trade was funny because I ended up calling this as a signal in the academy with Akashex, and it went for about a 1-to-1, and then price basically like ran out of gas and came back to entry. So at that point I was like, damn, maybe I should have closed the 1-to-1, I don't know. But I looked at it this way. I had a very clear target of session-based liquidity with Asia, and the only reason why we probably even got this really strong drop here was simply because if we look at other time frames, like let's say the 30-minute time frame was the one in this case here, we actually had a very strong 30-minute fair value gap that was formed here. And once price tapped into that, we could see how, again, price rejected very hard off that and created that pullback. But the market structure, the order flow, everything was still bullish because, again, if we kind of drop things back, we could see that price was in a downtrend. Basically all of Asian range, dropping all of this. That was a pullback, and then we're still pushing lower, lower, lower. It wasn't really until market open 9:30 a.m. where we started getting that manipulation and that liquidity sweep of this low down here. So once we got that liquidity sweep and we started shifting structure, if we plot out all of these structure points, you can see we had this high, had this low, price shifted higher above this high. So, seeing this is very bullish. And then again, we form another new high. And so as long as price is not breaking this low, everything is still flowing bullish. This could just be a retracement that respects this low and then forms a new higher high above here. And that's basically how it worked out. So I took a break even on that first position. And once price, again, came back to entry, I was just looking for it to respect VWAP, respect this low here. And if we started to shift structure back above 10 a.m., then I'd be willing to take the trade again. And that's really where we ended up hitting for a better trade when it was all said and done. And yeah, Asia high liquidity was the target. Again, looking at the Asian range, we had a very intact liquidity area here. And so that was really where I wanted to see price get to. And yeah, so basically that was actually a little bit over a 2-to-1. So you guys know I always try to find 2-to-1 plus trades. This happens to be a 2.2 getting to Asia high. So all confirmations were there. Again, if we kind of recap, we have a bullish 4-hour candle from 6 to 10. We have price sitting or rejecting Asia low. So for me, using Asia, that's kind of like a confirmation that Asia is on our side. Looking at VWAP sitting below price, and then price crossing below 10 a.m. open, and then crossing back above, and then executing. So yeah, Friday was good. Cyber Monday was good. So can't complain. So that's the way we want to start a brand new month to end the year. So we'll see where price is at tomorrow. We ended up actually coming back to entry and kind of sitting around. So gonna let Asian session do its thing and see, where we stand heading into London and all that, and take it from there. So we'll see. But again, great start to the week. Hope you guys found some value with this recap today. Hope you guys made some money with the strat if you guys are applying it to your trading with NQ. And I'll see you on the next one, man. Peace.